Welcome to Virginia Energy Connect and Energy Ambassador Training, developed in partnership with Everblue. Energy Ambassador Training is broken into 3 lessons. Lesson 1 is introducing the Energy Ambassador role. Lesson 2 is communication tips for Energy Ambassadors. And Lesson 3 is which projects to promote in your community. This is Lesson 1, an introduction to the Energy Ambassador program, understanding the role of the Energy Ambassador. An Energy Ambassador is an individual who is well connected with their community and possesses the knowledge, skills, confidence, and tools to help consumers participate in energy projects. Energy Ambassadors can work for a nonprofit, for a government agency, or for another organization. Those who complete the training will be designated as Virginia Energy Certified Energy Ambassadors, providing credibility and external validation to consumers. An energy ambassador can help consumers navigate the many rebate, incentive, and energy programs, as well as explaining some of the more technical aspects of programs, like the energy audits we'll be talking about shortly. An energy ambassador helps facilitate participation for otherwise underserved populations by reaching out and helping navigate the application process for the various programs that are available. Energy ambassadors help encourage consumers to participate in programs by drawing on community connections to help develop trust in those programs and by explaining the benefits of participating in them. Energy ambassadors help consumers decide which programs are likely to work for them and help direct them to the right resources to participate in the programs they choose. To help the most folks benefit from all these energy efficiency programs, energy ambassadors can support them in a number of ways, including providing referrals to existing programs like the Weatherization Assistance Program, helping them decide between various programs that are available, helping them navigate the VE Connect website, providing outreach at community events to increase awareness of these programs and take time to address their questions about them, and by collecting contact information, including name, email, and phone number, so that energy ambassadors can follow up with people who are interested later, or to pass the information on to the appropriate program administrators for programs that individuals have selected. Energy improvements are important because, at its most basic, we use less energy, whether electricity or gas or oil, to accomplish things like keeping us comfortable and cooking our dinner. This reduces the need to build more power plants and power lines, as well as reducing the demands on the energy system we use every day. Energy improvements are also important for many of the people served by the programs we'll be discussing because they don't have the resources to make energy improvements themselves, and if we can reduce their energy bills, we can help them in ways beyond just reducing the amount of energy they need to stay comfortable. By reducing the amount of energy required to run our homes, we reduce the amount of resources the planet needs to provide to keep us going, and using technologies like solar panels can reduce our impact even further. One of the main concepts in the home performance industry is of the house as a system. This is a way of looking at all the parts of a dwelling, whether an apartment in a high-rise or a detached single-family house, as a collection of interacting parts that all work together to keep us comfortable and protected from hazards like mold spores, paint fumes, and smoke from the stove. If we don't consider how they interact, we can find that improving one part actually makes things worse overall. One example of failing to think of a house as a system is from an HVAC contractor in Florida who had a client call to say that the air conditioning system didn't seem to work because their home was muggy and never really cooled down on the Florida heat. The contractor replaced the air conditioning unit with a larger one, but the client called back a month later to say the problem was even worse. The underlying problem turned out to be that the ducts between the air conditioning system and the house were very leaky, which meant a lot of the air conditioning was going into the attic. However, the return duct was still quite effective, leaving the air conditioner to serve as a giant vacuum, pulling air out of the house, cooling it off, and dumping most of it into the attic. With a lot of air being constantly pumped into the attic, every crack and crevice in the house was drawing in swampy Florida air into every corner of the house. Putting in a larger HVAC unit made the problem worse because even more nice, cool, dry air was being dumped into the attic and being replaced with the swampy Florida summer vapors. If the contractor had been thinking systematically, they would have tested the ducts to be sure a bigger air conditioning unit was actually needed. So we want to evaluate the entire house as a system to help figure out where we can get the biggest bang for the buck with energy upgrades and avoid creating any new problems for the residents. This process is usually known as an energy audit or energy assessment. After an energy auditor goes through a dwelling top to bottom and runs a number of diagnostic tests, they produce a list of recommended measures that can improve the efficiency of the dwelling. They can include things like sealing up the HVAC ducts, replacing light bulbs, or installing more insulation in the crawl space. The criteria usually used to select which measures to install is whether they will pay for themselves over the lifetime of the measure. So if installing a new air conditioning unit will save $400 a year and the unit costs $1,089, it would need to last at least 3 years to pay for itself in savings. We can also think about people in the community as a system, and if we improve the capacity of one household by reducing the resources they need to stay comfortable and safe, we can enable them to participate more fully in their communities. We also benefit everyone in the larger community by reducing the demands on the energy system made by that household. By converting sunlight into electricity, solar panels can reduce electric bills. They have also been shown to be an effective way to address energy insecurity. There are also shared solar projects where participants can get up to 20% reduction in energy bills, as well as subscription programs for having solar installed and getting a reduction in energy bills. Solar projects can continue producing power for 30 or more years, so they are a good way to permanently reduce household energy bills. The greatest benefit for most Virginians in connecting with solar power, however, comes through something called net metering. The excess power that is generated when the sun is shining is credited to the client's account, and those credits offset or even eliminate the cost of electricity when the sun is not shining. Credits are usually good for 12 months, meaning clients can see reduced bills for the entire year. Improvements in residences can also include adding capacity to the electrical panel to allow for charging of electric vehicles, which can also reduce costs for residents, as electric vehicles are typically less expensive to fuel, have reduced maintenance costs, and with a solar panel, fueling costs can be even lower. Now we've learned that energy ambassadors help educate and guide Virginia consumers to participate in energy projects. Energy projects can include energy efficiency, solar, battery storage, and EV charging. Considering a house as a system helps avoid fixing one problem while creating another, and energy auditors review residences to provide a ranked list of possible improvement projects. So, what is the role of an energy ambassador? Pause the video, come up with your answer, and then start the video again. Did you get the right answer? Coming up is Lesson 2, Communication Tips for Energy Ambassadors. Thank you so much for your time and attention.